All right, Shammi. Before you start my speech, can I just set the stage with you very quickly? So I will try to do this with some of the speakers that we have to make this session a bit more exciting and interesting. I feel it's very important to get to know our speakers and the delegates on a one-on-one level. So very quickly, we're going to do a quick interaction with you. It's called High, Low, Buffalo. High is, what is the high point of your life? What was one of the challenges that you faced in your life? And Buffalo is something interesting about yourself that not too many people know about. Let's do this quickly.
So I think the high thing is that the industry loves you, and when industry recognizes you, your hard work, I think that's one of the highest moments of my career, in which and that's all thanks to the colleagues and to the team of mine who works with me. In terms of challenge, I think challenges comes every day, but I'll not term them as challenges. Those have been my learning areas where I understood that as an individual, as a professional, and as a leader, how I need to change myself. So still working on it and hoping that I will be able to make a mark around it. Lastly, my name itself, I would like to thank my father. He was a great fan of Shammi Kapoor, and I was the last son. And that's very excited that that's going to be your name. And I think if people forget my face, but they never forget my name. So that's one of the interesting things. Thank you.
Thank you. That was absolutely wonderful. Well, the stage and the podium is all yours. Over to you. Thank you so much for that.
Good morning, everyone. I think Ms. Mohanty covered beautifully a lot about the landscape which we all are dealing and living into. But something which I want to share with the entire group is that it's not that we are not aware about what technology can do. It's not about we don't understand technology. Something which we often forget or we believe in our back of the mind is that things are quite easy to be done. Humans will definitely play an important role in the entire journey, and tech is not going to replace humans. I think that's something a very crux and very important thing all of us need to remember, that technology is an enabler, I think, and I personally believe myself that I'm in a wonderful era where I've got a blend of wonderful technology tools, evolving technologies which will help me in building a lot of decision making in a faster manner, and smart brains. I think if you combine them, I think we are living in a space where things can be done wonderfully. But if we take a step back and try to think, will that really help us? We have so many people in the room. I think at least I have not interacted or met a lot of people, and I've not even know their names. And this exactly happens when we are back in our rooms. All of us believe we know our businesses, we believe we know our products, and we are extremely confident that we know who our customers is. But as we live in this evolving world and time, our customers' demands, customer needs changes every moment and every second. You believe you know them, and the next moment you know that the taste, the preference, and the flavor for them has changed. So, keeping this specifically in mind, that if you need to understand your customer, you need to marry your tools, and you need to get that business edge so that you are able to have three ROIs. One, obviously, customer loyalty, very important. A wonderful experience in terms of having a product suit which does not suit our requirement but suits the requirement of the customer. And lastly, building a profitable ROI which ensures a longer strength in terms of doing business. So I've just articulated few of my thoughts. This is absolutely my own thoughts, which you're going to go through on this particular slide about single truth. Why this today is becoming something very, very critical and important for all of us. It's because that the entire data available or our entire customer information today which we live with is fragmented. Every function, every department wants to use the data the way they want to use it. And they believe that the information which they have suits them very, very well. But what we need at a particular stage right now is to have a window which actually classifies not who my customer is, what my customer is all about. What information about my customer is exactly which I need at every life cycle journey of mine. You want to do sales pitch, you need to understand the tonality and the cohort of your customer. You want to build up a service model, you need to know the preferences, the choices of your customer. You want to give them products, you need to understand from which areas, zones, states, financial statuses they come through. You need to understand them so well so that the way they interact with you in terms of your product suits, in your customer journeys, they find themselves as a part of it and not that this is made for them. And that's the tweaking which data actually brings in. And that's the beauty why a single source truth application is extremely important. It's not that if we don't have it, we are going to miss something. But if we don't have it, we are allowing some of these areas to interrupt, to make us get away from a customer, impact the retention and the loyalty of a customer. And trust me, the most important thing for you is to have a repeat customer. For you, the most important thing is that how flexible you can be today in today's world where everything is not even in minutes. People are quite interested in seconds. I'm sure all of us are on Insta. Now, if I ask you to see a reel, you want a reel to get over in 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 10 seconds, and you're quite happy about it. That quick is the connect which a customer is looking forward for. When you talk about an experience, every organization feels that we have got n number of tools where a customer can come and connect with us. WhatsApp, brilliant, you are on WhatsApp. Mobile app, we are on mobile app. Customer portal, here you go, you log in, simplified journey. But is the experience omni-channel giving them a unified touch information which they look forward for? Does every touch point has a similar information which a customer would need? Is it not important for a customer to definitely know that when I am able to see what I want to see from a business point of view is actually getting covered? If I'm on WhatsApp, I'm not leaving WhatsApp, but the information stays with me on the channel which I've opted for. From an organization point of view, all of us are aware there are a lot of changes happening on the data security front. DPDP coming in. That's absolutely important for us to understand what kind of a risk are we living for. AI, fantastic, it's brilliant. But the evolution of AI will definitely depend on the kind of amount, clarity, and well-structured data information you carry. You put all these three in one basket, trust me, the result is going to be enormous. And all of us get excited that we have got wonderful use cases of AI. But are those use cases the actual frontier to involve or evolve or connect technology back into our processes? The answer rests only on one thing. When you're able to know that your data is consistent, because when you have a consistent data, you have consistent information, consistent trends, you will be able to know when, where, how. You need to connect your technology either in your service, either in your businesses, or in your products journey, so that you get a unified experience and a simple experience from a customer standpoint of view. I'm not going to touch more about the decision making because I think all of us are using good amount of tools in knowing how should a decision tree help us and how data is very valuable and important when you talk about decision making. But something which is very important on this entire slide, and I personally like the most important thing about is the point number 4, how today we can enable the real-time data processing. Your customer is right then and there on one of your platforms. Are you able to understand that if he is trying to do any service request, you look forward for an instant cross-sell? Our earlier experience always has been, I'm going to create cohorts, I'm going to create customer segmentation, I know his income, I know his age, I know his lifestyle, and I have a team who's going to start doing an outcall to him. But your customer is at that particular moment when he's interacting with you, are you really able to convert with him? And when you do a conversation with him, which actually connects back to him rather than he sharing his information, you interact back with him by telling, sir, this is what I understand about you. Is it right? And I'll share one wonderful example of mine. When I was traveling with one of an airline, and unfortunately, that airline had a delayed in taking off. So they said that for 30-35 minutes you need to rest in a lounge. I said perfectly fine. I was going through my mobile and suddenly a person walks up to me and says me, sir, this is your favorite drink, and since because of us you need to waste 30 minutes of time, please enjoy your drink. I hope you like the taste. I was not bothered about the drink which they offer me. I was zapped that why he said me, this is your favorite drink. And I actually asked him, and I'm sorry, except people at home, very few of my friends knows that this is my favorite drink. How are you able to tell me this is my favorite drink? In one of the surveys, they have just asked me that when you frequently travel, what would you prefer as your eating habits, drinking habits? And I just mentioned one of those pointers there. That was the moment they were able to break ice with me, and that was the moment they were able to bring that trust back on me, that if they understand what I need in terms of drink, I think the service quality will definitely be very, very critical and important. And I think that's where data plays a very important role. Today, I believe we are sitting on enormous data. Three things which we miss on them is we are unable to tag the data which we have. And if we're able to tag it, the classification of those information resting in our systems today is unknown. Some information which can be used by a particular department, but they're in a dilemma that do I really need that information? And the last and the most important thing, while you built all this, who is having access to what amount of data? And that's where generally I have personally experienced the miss happens. When you have a lot of data, you actually lost your trail because you exactly don't know what are you looking into or what are you trying to dissect out of that entire data. And I'll share my personal experience. I was working on one of the AI experiment, which is sentiment analysis. And the whole objective of mine was that if on a voice or an email interaction, a customer comes in and he's disappointed, how it can be assigned back to a caller immediately or someone reaches out to a customer immediately. The miss I had was when I realized too much of data, I actually started deep diving in what kind of a query he's coming in, what kind of a complaint is he trying to give me, what process is he trying to say me is bad. And when we deliberated and we looked at the data, I think the whole fundamental concept for me was to understand those words which he's trying to communicate to me. When on an email he says, I am frustrated. He calls and says, I am disappointed. I missed that. Oh, he's worried about a buying journey. So some agent from a buying journey will connect and explain him the buying journey. He's worried about the service or a claim experience. So someone senior will attend him from that front. No. When I actually went back onto the drawing board, I realized my sentiment analysis project which I wanted to run was dealing with customer sentiments. And I was missing that same thing because I was overwhelmed with the information which I had. And that's where it's very important that when you identify and integrate your data sources, you have to be extremely clear how you want to use your data, for what you want to use your data. And that's where we picked up some 30,000 keywords, built up a rule around it, and trust me, from 63% to 83%, we were able to bring the efficiency in the tool to identify those words. And the beauty was my NPS, which was in -20, reached +19. Because these customers topped my chart of answering on an instant front. Again, real-time journey, not someone after taking a request, dissecting and then coming back. I think that's what the beauty which will data bring in. Lastly, benefits all of us are aware, but something which I want to share with this cohort and quorum is that today's customer is more educated. They have got a lot of access to the information. Hence, for us, it's very, very important that how well our information is available on all platforms. And that's again where data plays a very important role. That's where the confidence, that's where a transparency, that's where an accuracy gets built among the customer cohorts. And that brings that customer back on your portals. It's just not about the information you carry within the organization, I believe. The information which you carry it outside, the way you communicate it outside, the importance of the detailing which you do in your communication, maybe a brochure, maybe anything you want to place across. And social media today plays a very pivotal role. And we must use it in a way where we can connect and bond with our customers. So with that, thank you so much for your time. And I hope that we really spend some time. And if you see the last line is something which I would really want to focus on, that when we go back, we must think that when you want to work on data, is it really unified? Is it in a single frame? And am I able to know my customer very well? Thank you so much.
All right.
In case if anyone has any questions, I'm quite happy to, take it. Yes, please. Yeah.
I'm Rohit Khanna from Silverleaf. Sir, I had a very specific question around how does Tata AIG see digital first approach, in validating some of the concepts that you're talking about? Because the major threat today to insurance, the age-old players, has been from the digital first players, right? Go Digit, Acco, right? What are you doing to get to that level of automation, or should I say to that level of accessibility? Plus, how are you competing with them?
I think I was just sharing with ma'am, who I was sitting with, that, insurance industry has evolved a lot. It's not something that now insurance is getting connected back as a product which you want to buy, right? And again, I have a very different view, and that's where we lose our trail. It's not about being digital first. It's all about being convenient in your experience with your customer. And in insurance, if you talk about, all of us will always believe there are two important journeys where customer wants to feel that he is the most important. One, when he buy your product. So how you communicate, when you communicate. One of the areas which I worked on, and I realized this plays very important, is that we keep sending WhatsApps. We believe WhatsApp is something which customer is on. But there is a study which talks about that most of your customers checks WhatsApp messages, personal messages, 7:30 to 8:30. Your click rate is high during the day, your response rate is low, your response rate increases. So this one example, sir, what I want to say across is just not about being digital first. It's all about knowing that you have right technology tools, how well and when you are able to connect with your customer. Claim experience, everyone says that we are digitally there. You scan your documents, we'll do OCRs, we'll do everything. So we have moved away from our traditional journeys to there. But what today we need to work across is, with so many omni channels available, how you unified your customer experience. And I think as an insurance industry, we have done a fair amount of work. Will I say that there is something left? A lot is left. We have still not created something which is a well-blown AI or ecosystem which helps you a lot. But in terms of underwriting, risk management, I think it's a great work which has happened there, because these technologies are today helping you to, again, work on large amount of information, large amount of data, and be precise in your decision making. Thank you.